Once upon a time, there was a school known for its picturesque surroundings and tranquil atmosphere. This school, Greenwood High, was home to many students, but none were as remarkable as David. David was a brilliant boy, a prodigy with a mind that outshone everyone else. His intelligence was both a blessing and a curse. David's best friend, Lucas, had been by his side since they were children. They shared everything: secrets, dreams, and countless adventures. However, as they grew older, Lucas began to feel overshadowed by David's brilliance. Teachers would praise David's insights, classmates sought his help with their studies, and he became the center of attention at every academic event. Lucas felt the sting of jealousy, a quiet envy that gnawed at his heart. One day, a prestigious science competition was announced, and the entire school buzzed with excitement. David, naturally, was expected to win. Lucas, determined to prove himself, decided to enter the competition too. He poured his heart into his project, but no matter how hard he worked, it seemed pale in comparison to David's effortless genius. The night before the competition, Lucas couldn't sleep. His mind raced with thoughts of failure and inadequacy. The envy that had simmered within him for years reached a boiling point. In a moment of desperation and irrationality, Lucas decided that if he couldn't be the best, then neither could David. The next day, the school gymnasium was packed with students, teachers, and judges. Projects were displayed on tables, and excitement filled the air. David's project stood out, an intricate model demonstrating a groundbreaking scientific theory. Lucas watched from the sidelines, his heart pounding. As the judges made their rounds, Lucas approached David. "Hey David, can I talk to you for a moment outside?" David, ever the trusting friend, nodded and followed Lucas out to the secluded schoolyard. Lucas's hands trembled, his mind a whirlwind of fear and jealousy. In a fit of rage and despair, he grabbed a nearby rock and struck David. David fell to the ground, his eyes wide with shock and betrayal. Lucas stood over his fallen friend, his breathing ragged. The gravity of his actions hit him like a tidal wave, but it was too late. David's lifeless body lay still, the spark of brilliance extinguished forever. Panic set in, and Lucas fled the scene, leaving David alone. It wasn't long before someone found David and raised the alarm. The school was thrown into chaos and the police were called. Lucas was quickly apprehended, his guilt evident. The town mourned the loss of David, the boy who could have changed the world with his intellect. Lucas, consumed by remorse and regret, was sentenced to life in prison. He spent his days reflecting on his actions, haunted by the memory of his best friend and the potential he had destroyed. Greenwood High never forgot the tragedy that befell its most brilliant student. David's memory lived on, a reminder of the fragility of human emotions and the devastating consequences of envy. Years passed since the tragic incident at Greenwood High, but the memory of David's brilliance and untimely death lingered in the minds of those who knew him. The school had moved on, though a palpable void remained where David's light had once shone. One crisp autumn morning, a new student arrived at Greenwood High. Emma was quiet and observant, with an air of mystery that piqued the curiosity of his classmates. Emma was exceptionally bright, much like David, but he kept his intelligence hidden, aware of the history that had unfolded within the school's walls. Emma had a unique gift: he could sense and see echoes of past events. On his first day, as he walked through the halls, she felt an inexplicable pull toward the schoolyard where David had been killed. There, he saw faint, ghostly images of David and Lucas, replaying that fateful day. A shiver ran down his spine, and he resolved to uncover the full story of what happened to David. Emma's presence did not go unnoticed by the teachers. Mr. Thompson, the science teacher who had once mentored David, saw potential in Emma and took him under his wing. He sensed a kindred spirit in her, someone who could perhaps bring closure to the unresolved grief that hung over the school. As Emma delved into his studies, he also began to dig into the school's past. He visited the library, combing through old newspapers and yearbooks. He spoke to former students and teachers, piecing together the fragments of David's life and Lucas's descent into envy. The more he learned, the more determined he became to do something meaningful in David's memory. One day, while studying in the library, Emma stumbled upon David's old project notes. Hidden among them was a journal. As he read through its pages, he was struck by David's thoughts and dreams. He had written about his desire to use his intellect to help others, to create a world where knowledge was shared freely and envy had no place. Inspired by David's vision, Emma decided to resurrect his unfinished project for the annual science competition. He worked tirelessly, poring over David's theories and adding her own insights. As the competition drew near, word of Emma's project spread, rekindling memories of David and stirring a mix of hope and apprehension. On the day of the competition, the gymnasium was once again filled with students, teachers, and judges. Emma's project, a continuation of David's groundbreaking theory, stood at the center. As he presented his work, he spoke not only of scientific discovery, but also of the importance of friendship, humility, and the dangers of envy. The audience was captivated, and when Emma finished, there was a profound silence. Mr. Thompson, with tears in his eyes, stood up and applauded, followed by the rest of the audience. Emma's project won first place, but more importantly, it brought a sense of healing to the school. In the days that followed, a memorial was established in David's honor, featuring a plaque that read, "In memory of David, whose light shone brightly and inspired us all. May we always strive to learn, share, and support one another." Emma's actions not only honored David's legacy, but also set a new tone at Greenwood High. The students and teachers became more mindful of their words and actions, fostering an environment where brilliance was celebrated and everyone was encouraged to shine in their own unique way. As for Emma, he continued his studies with a newfound sense of purpose, knowing that he had helped to heal a community and keep the memory of a remarkable boy alive. As time marched on, Greenwood High School began to thrive anew, basking in the positive changes brought about by Emma's inspiring actions. His tribute to David's memory had a lasting impact, fostering a culture of empathy and mutual support among the students and staff. Emma himself became a symbol of resilience and wisdom, admired by all. One evening, as Emma was walking home, he felt that familiar, eerie pull towards the old, forgotten parts of town. Intrigued, he followed the sensation to an abandoned house at the edge of the forest. The place was dilapidated, overgrown with vines, and shrouded in shadows. Yet, Emma felt compelled to explore it. Inside, the air was thick with dust and memories. Emma wandered through the decaying rooms, her footsteps echoing off the walls.
In a small, cluttered study, he found a dusty box labeled David's Treasures. His heart pounded as he carefully opened it, revealing a collection of notebooks, sketches, and personal items. Among them, he found a letter addressed to Lucas. The letter, written in David's handwriting, was never sent. It read, "Dear Lucas, I've noticed the distance growing between us, and I can't help but wonder if I've done something to hurt you. You're my best friend, and it pains me to see you struggling. I want you to know that I value you, not just for your support, but for who you are. Your kindness, creativity, and loyalty mean the world to me. If there's anything I can do to make things right, please tell me. Our friendship is more important to me than any competition or achievement. Your friend, David."
Emma's eyes filled with tears as he read the heartfelt words. He realized that David had sensed Lucas's growing resentment and had tried to reach out to him. The tragedy of their story deepened, knowing that David had cared so much for his friend. Determined to honor David's spirit of forgiveness and reconciliation, Emma decided to visit Lucas in prison. He knew it would be difficult, but he felt it was the only way to truly heal the lingering wounds left by the tragedy. After a few weeks of arranging the visit, Emma found herself standing outside the prison, his heart heavy with anticipation. He was led to a small, sterile visiting room where Lucas, now older and worn by guilt and regret, sat waiting. His eyes widened in surprise when he saw Emma. "Hello, Lucas, my name is Emma," he began, his voice steady but gentle. "I've come to share something important with you." Lucas listened intently as Emma recounted his journey, his discovery of David's unsent letter, and his desire to bring closure to the past. He handed him the letter, watching as he read David's words. Tears streamed down his face, and he clutched the letter to his chest. "I never knew," Lucas whispered, his voice breaking. "I thought I was alone in my struggle." I let my jealousy destroy everything. Emma reached out, placing a hand on his arm. David cared deeply for you, Lucas. He wanted to mend your friendship. It's not too late to find forgiveness, both for yourself and for David. Lucas nodded, tears still flowing. Thank you, Emma. You've given me a chance to make peace with my past. Over time, Lucas began to correspond with Emma, sharing his journey of self-forgiveness and his hopes for the future. He became involved in prison programs aimed at helping inmates find redemption and purpose. Back at Greenwood High, the story of David, Lucas, and Emma became a powerful lesson for everyone. It was a reminder that behind every face was a story, every act of kindness had the power to heal, and that forgiveness was a gift both to the giver and the receiver. Emma continued to excel in his studies, his heart forever touched by the legacy of David and the profound impact of their intertwined destinies. The school flourished, a beacon of hope and understanding, forever changed by the lessons of the past.